I recently picked up a new Specialized Levo SL with a SWAT tool in the steer tube, but the stem was sitting a little too high and I wanted to cut down the extra bit of tube sticking out. It's super easy to do and you only need a few tools. You want a couple of different hex wrenches depending on your stem setup. Some bikes use a T25 Torx as well. Grab a marker, and I like to use a pipe cutting tool. You can get one at any hardware store. This one's from Rigid, it clamps onto the steer tube and cuts as you spin it around. You can even replace the cutting blade if it gets dull. I'll drop a link to this and the other tools I'm using below. You'll also need a file, and I recommend using a torque wrench for reinstalling the stem bolts. Start by removing the tool from the SWAT compartment. This assembly is a little different from a standard compression system. Instead of compressing from the top with a star nut, it tightens from the bottom of the fork, so go ahead and remove that piece. Then pull the SWAT assembly out of the stem. Now I'm going to measure where to cut the steer tube. To do that, I'll take the stem off, stack the number of spacers I want to run under it, and then reinstall the stem. I like to add one spacer on top of the stem. That gives me a little room for feature adjustment. Then I mark the top of that spacer with the Sharpie. Next, I take the file and mark the halfway point between the top of the stem and the mark I just made. That's where I'm going to cut. Now it's time to pull the fork off. So to do that, I need to remove the front wheel and take off the brake caliper. I use a brush handle to keep the bars in place while I'm working, just to stop it from flopping around. Now line up your pipe cutter with the mark, clamp it down gently, and start spinning. Take your time with this. The goal isn't to blast through it, it's to slowly and cleanly cut through the tube. Tighten the cutter a little, spin it around a few times, then give it another quarter turn. Repeat that until you're all the way through. Go slow and you'll get a nice straight cut. Now grab that file and clean up any burrs or rough edges on the steer tube. Reinstall your fork, slide the stem back on, and drop that single spacer on top. The top spacer is there for a reason. The top cap shouldn't make contact with the steer tube itself. That small 2 to 3 millimeter gap allows the stem to compress properly and preload everything. Now just bolt your brakes and your stem back on, torque everything to manufacturer spec using the torque wrench, and you are good to go.